One thing about me is I am a huge reader and a huge traveler. There's genuinely nothing I love more than curling up with a good book, disappearing within the pages, or exploring a new world by traveling. I started to think, what if these books existed in the real world? And even better, what if I could hypothetically go to them? Today we will be planning a real trip inspired by the book ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. Welcome to the first episode of this new series I am creating called Booked, where we will be taking a book and booking a trip. If our main characters plan these trips, where would they go? What would they do? Where would they stay? No travel detail will be spared as I plan this hypothetical itinerary as if I am actually planning a real trip. And I love planning trips. I'm usually the one to plan my European excursions with my friends. So this is right up my alley and I hope you enjoy. Since I want to make these trips as authentic as I can to the book, there will be mild spoilers. So keep that in mind for the ACOTAR series as we do this episode. As a brief summary to catch you up, A Court of Thorns and Roses follows Farah, who is just a regular girl trying to survive. She accidentally kills the wrong creature and gets dragged into the Fae world. Her punishment is to stay there indefinitely. From there, it turns into politics, curses, bargains, enemies, found family, and a lot of very powerful Fae who are very dramatic. It's inspired by Beauty and the Beast, so it's kind of fairy tale-ish, and then it becomes so much more throughout the series. Welcome to my Pinterest account where we will be scouring for different things. I love a good mood board. I love a good visual. So we will be searching on here, finding the right pictures that we want, and then going over here to my Canva board where I will be laying it all out for you. So we can make the whole travel itinerary on here. The first thing you need to do when planning a new trip is deciding where you're going and then deciding where you will be flying into, where the main location will be, the home base, if you will. When I think of ACOTAR, I think of the Night Court, and I'm sure we all can agree with that. And when I think, where would the Night Court be in real life if it existed, I immediately think of Switzerland. I'm sure we've all seen this specific town on TikTok, but it's on the western side of Switzerland, and when I did some more research, I found out that that city is called Zermatt, Switzerland. It seriously feels like this city is pulled straight out of the pages of ACOTAR, and I found out that Sarah J. Maas actually took this city as inspiration, so it makes perfect sense that we will be having our home base here. Let me show you what Zermatt looks like. Absolutely stunning. I mean, look at that. That looks like Valeris, or at least as close as it could be if it existed in real life. Stunning, stunning. So this is where our home base is going to be. I did mention Valeris as a quick refresher, or if you're not familiar, Valeris is the capital of the Night Court, and honestly, this is exactly what I pictured when I read it, so we're gonna be going here. Oh my gosh, I wish I could go here right now so bad. It is stunning. Zermatt is car-free. It is tucked into the Swiss Alps, impossibly scenic, and somehow feels very peaceful, but you can feel the power of the mountains when you look at it. Very Night Court coded. And that's exactly where I think Farah would want to go. And if you're wondering, well, if she lives in a city like this, why would she want to travel here if she came to Earth? And let me just think. I feel like Farah would want a home away from home, and this would give that. I actually went to Switzerland last year, but I was on the eastern side of the country, so I did not get the pleasure of getting to go here. I guess I'll have no choice to go back once I plan an entire trip around the city. But let me tell you, seeing the views of Switzerland in real life, they are unreal. There's nothing else like it. Everything's so clean and safe, and I cannot wait to go back to experience some more ACOTAR magic. So now that we've established that this is going to be our base, and let's make it official by putting it into our presentation. And don't worry, as a graphic designer, I will be making this all pretty, but for now, we're just gonna kind of plop everything in here. Now that we've established this is our base, we need to start planning the finer details of the trip. Off camera, I did some research to see what the best time of year is to travel to this location, and I keep seeing late summer to early fall. It kept popping up over and over again. So I feel like August through September, the crowds start to thin out, less touristy, the weather is still really nice, and the mountains look unreal year round, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we need to decide where we are staying, because where would Farah stay? She has unlimited budget, obviously. After doing some browsing, I think we have no no choice but to let Farah stay in a luxury alpine chalet or a boutique hotel. I found this one. This is a dream. Look at that view. Can't you just picture Farah cozied up here? The things I am looking for when searching for a place for Farah to stay are floor-to-ceiling windows, a balcony facing the mountain, that's the most important part, a fireplace, soft lighting, thick blankets, and I think this is probably the perfect place for it because we got all of that. High-end chalets often include spa facilities such as saunas, steam rooms, hot tubs, or indoor pools. I'm thinking that's perfect. The privacy, spacious, breathtaking alpine views, the most important part. Here are our options. So we got to decide which one we want Farah to stay in. I'm kind of looking at this one. This is the one that showed up on the cover page. It sleeps 12 people. This is looking great. My only thing is it doesn't feel as cozy probably as I want it to just because everything is so white. But, you know, are we gonna complain when this is what it is? Probably not. Let's look at some other ones. This one's also beautiful. This one's a little bit smaller. It sleeps 10. Wow. I'm liking the vibe of this one a bit more, but let's scour a bit more. This one's feeling a lot cozier. This is what I'm thinking more of a log cabin, home away from home. I'm not quite sure what decoration style the night court has, but this is beautiful. My one thing is I don't think there's a balcony facing the Matterhorn. So I think we're gonna have to compromise and not worry about necessarily the coziness of it, but I think we should do this one because this is the view you're getting. Imagine that at night. That's stunning. So we're gonna say that this is where we're staying. Just look at that. This is perfect. You got a spa, indoor hot tub, and sauna. I think Farah's gonna love this. Now that we have established that this is where we're staying, we need to decide how long we want to be staying for on our trip. I'm thinking that we'll do a week stay, including flights. So now we need to build the itinerary around that. That leaves us with 5 days left because we'll have 2 travel days. I think that will be a perfect time for Farah. This just makes sense for her in my mind because she loves home. She's a homebody. She loves being around her people. So this will be the perfect length for a nice trip where she can see and do all the things she wants, but she's not gone for too long. Okay, day 1. What I'm thinking is this will be a slower day since we just had a full travel day, a no agenda type day. After arriving in Switzerland, we can check in, unpack, and immediately step outside to walk in the village. Okay, this is what the town is looking like. Obviously, this photo is in winter. We will not be going in winter, but look at the cobblestone streets, the mountains in every direction, the wooden buildings, straight out of a Hallmark movie. I can picture Farah grabbing some hot chocolate or coffee or grabbing a big bowl of chocolate. I can just picture her doing something like this. I'm looking for some hot chocolate because that to me is feeling very Switzerland. Despite the fact that we will not be going in the winter, I still can picture this happening because hot chocolate is good year round. I don't know why we're only limiting it to winter. I understand why because obviously it's when it's cold. Some of my favorite days while traveling in Europe is just wandering without a plan, and that's what this day I think is going to heavily be. Like, look at this town. It's absolutely stunning. Again, I will make this mood board much more aesthetic for a final presentation, but just throwing the ideas on here as we plan. Imagine cozying up here with your hot chocolate or coffee and you just sit here in these narrow streets watching the views. I'm loving that. And then I'm thinking that after that slow day that we can go back to our stunning balcony view. Okay, at nighttime, we can stargaze. And this is going to be a common theme throughout this trip is looking at the stars, looking at the nightlight, coming from the night court. That's what it's known for. That's what the main beauty of it is. So we may be a bit of night owls on this trip. Not necessarily my cup of tea. I am very much a morning person. I could compromise. When this is what you're looking at every night, we can make that work for sure. I imagine this day being so heavenly, so peaceful. I can practically feel it through the photos on my screen. That is going to conclude our first day here in Switzerland. Not the most exciting day, but a day that I'm definitely not complaining about. A day after traveling is always so stressful and you're exhausted, so I think that's a good first day for Farah. Here is day 1 complete. Seeing this collage finalized makes me so excited to plan the rest of the trip. We've got some nods showing them arriving here on their vacation. We got some traditional Switzerland things like fondue and chocolate. Got the hot chocolate we'll enjoy. We've got some pictures to show them wandering throughout the town, both in the day and the night. I also put some inspiration of some things maybe Farah would like to wear on this day. I have 2 dress options that I think could blend into human society well, but also still feel like the Fae night court that she is from. It turned out great. I cannot wait to keep planning the rest of this trip. Moving on to day 2. This is going to be a bit more structured, I think. This trip is going to be more laid back than some of the other ones I'll probably plan in the series, which is why I wanted to start with it, just because I feel like that's what Farah would want. And who knows, maybe she's bringing the whole night court with her and they're just kind of going with the flow, doing whatever. Or maybe she's just bringing Reese. I don't know. But welcome to day 2. Let's get started. I'm thinking that the morning could be spent wandering the old part of town. Honestly, sometimes Pinterest does me dirty and cannot find exactly what I'm looking for, so I'm also going to be searching Google, despite the fact that the pictures are nowhere near as aesthetic or pretty. But this is the old part of town. You can tell just by looking at it that. And I'm thinking that Farah would be wandering here in the morning to see it, see some of the history. This is essential to traveling to Zermatt. They're 500-year-old wooden chalets, the narrow paths, history, and as old as the night court is. We gotta appreciate some other really old history. If Valeris existed on Earth and had an original quarter, it would look like this. And then let's go shopping. I did some research and found some shops that I think Farah would like to go to if she were here. And again, we're gonna have to rely on Google for this part because I don't think Pinterest is probably going to be able to pull up individual shops, but that's okay. Beautiful building. Oh my gosh, with the flowers. Since it can get kind of chilly here, and for our later days in this trip where we will be doing some more mountain themed activities, I thought it would be great if Farah could pick up some different sporting clothes. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. Her and her gang, whoever decided to come with her on this trip, could stock up on these clothes, and they've got all the money in the world, so they don't have to worry about how expensive Switzerland is, because let me tell you, that place is expensive. It is the most expensive country I've ever traveled to, and I think it is ranked as one of the most expensive ones, so that makes sense. They don't have to worry about that trip. I mean, look at where they're staying. They have no worries about budget, and that's what is so fun about planning this trip, is we have no budget. I don't necessarily see Farah doing anything as crazy as this. You will see later on some of the things I have planned. It might be nice to have a nice jacket or hat or something like that. A scarf maybe. So I'm seeing more this style. Looks more like something she'd wear versus all those bright colors. Not seeing Farah going skiing anytime soon. But anyways, that was one of the first stores that I thought we could stop in. Another one that I want to look up has good reviews. We're gonna look into that. I wanted to find a normal clothing store that she could go shopping in if she wanted to, and I think this one would be good because it's carrying some normal clothes. And I say normal, but when you are not human, and I think there would be something here that each one of them could want to buy. There are 2 museums I want to look in. I think this could be a day of wandering. We can buy our stuff, we can drop it back off at our hotel, and then we can go back and explore some different museums. So let's look up the ones that I had in mind. The first one is the Matterhorn Museum. I feel like that's a pretty iconic place that you have to go when you're here. We can learn more of the history of the city and compare and contrast it to what Valeris is like. Oh crap, I accidentally said I didn't prefer English. Experience Zermatt's history up close at the Matterhorn Museum. Offers an insight into how Zermatt has developed over the years. Talks about the ascent of the Matterhorn, the very first one, to immerse yourself into the mountain world of past centuries. So I think that is perfect. I think every time you travel, you should put yourself in the culture, learn more about it, and what a better way than going to a museum. And it doesn't mean that they have to spend forever here, but just to pop in and out would be good. It does look like you have to book tickets. They're not very expensive, but here are some pictures of what I guess the inside looks like. So we're gonna pop those into here since that's part of our itinerary for the day. It's a tough balance when you personally are not a big museum person. I don't necessarily enjoy going going to a museum, but I love learning about the culture and history. I feel like it's a lose-lose for me. Even if Farah does feel that way, I still think it's good to put yourself out there and go to at least one or two, is what I try to do when I'm traveling. Because Farah is a painter in the series, and it's actually funny, it's become somewhat of a meme, if you're familiar, that she's a terrible painter. To imagine her actually being very bad at painting is hilarious to me, but then I saw someone say that Nesta would make fun of her if she was actually bad, so that kind of contradicts that. So she actually is a good painter. We're gonna keep that in mind, but I just wanted to mention that because that is so funny to me. I'm gonna say that Farah has packed a bunch of her art supplies with her coming to this trip. Maybe there's an art store in Zermatt. It's hard to find online, especially because I don't speak Swiss German and a lot of the pages won't translate to English. So let's say she's packed them, okay? We've dropped off all of our stuff at the hotel that we've bought. We've ate lunch that is catered to us with the price of the hotel we're staying at. I cannot even imagine how expensive this place actually is. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use Farah's hobby as an itinerary point for this trip. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a cable car. It's what we call it in the US at least. And we are going to take that from Zermatt up to the top of the mountain. We are going to see views of the Matterhorn around us. This is what we're gonna get in, okay? We're gonna be packed into this little thing with our crew. I'm gonna move all of this because this is kind of insignificant compared to what we're about to do, if we're being honest. Okay, so we're gonna take this up. Stunning views. I'm not sure if this is exactly where we are, but I'm just for the aesthetic and to show kind of the vibe of what we're doing. We are going to take one of these up to the top of the mountain, and then at the top of the lift, since it's still summer, it's not going to be super cold. So this is kind of more the vibe that's going to be. This obviously is not Zermatt, but for the sake of showing you guys what we're going to be doing, it's going to be more this vibe. We're going to get off at the top and we are going to picnic and paint. I thought that this would be perfect for what Farah would want to do. We could stop in a little local grocery store or bakery, pick up some cheese, pastries, bread, meat, pack it with us, go up on the cable car, get out, and that's where we can do our picnic and painting. I thought we could eat out for a night. We could do a nice dinner. I found this restaurant. It has great reviews and it has $3 marks, so that's when you know it's super expensive. Yeah, we can get some fondue and we can have a nice dinner. This looks great. I would love to eat here if I could afford it, which I definitely cannot. I'm living vicariously through the night court folk. And that would be a perfect day 2. I'm gonna clean this up, add some more pictures, and then we'll come back and revisit it. Here is the day 2 collage complete. We have us going to the top of the mountain. We have the paintings that Farah may have done, her painting on the mountain with her easel. We have the museum and the different shops would go to that day. Some dresses that feel very classy, but also human enough to blend in, just like I did for day 1. This turned out great, and I can picture her. I can genuinely visualize her here doing all of these things. And yeah, let's move on to day 3. Now let's work on day 3. Today is going to be a Nesta inspired day since she has her own book in the series. Maybe Farah is missing her despite all of their sibling beef with one another, and we want to do something inspired by her because we miss her. Maybe she is actually with us and she's forcing us to do something that she wants to do. And since Nesta is our iconic hiker in the series with how many steps she's taken up and down that mountain, when I went to Switzerland last year, I did research on hikes that I wanted to do while I was there, and I really wanted to do the Stoos Ridge hike, which I will go back and do one day. But unfortunately, it was way too far away, and keep in mind, Switzerland is a tiny country, especially if you come from the US. Like, a couple hours away seems like nothing. I was there for a short period of time, so I could not do that. Anyways, that's not the point. I was not there long enough to do the hike is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to be living vicariously through them, and they will be going on this hike while they're there. And wait until you see what this looks like. It's insane. Like, look at this. This is absolutely insane. And I thought it was perfect because it has all of these steps that you have to go down and up to do the hike. And I thought that was a perfect nod at Nesta in the series. Maybe she'll get some PTSD and won't want to do it. I'm not quite sure. I thought day 3 was also the perfect day to do this because we've recovered the past 2 days. We haven't really done a ton of physical activity besides walking around the village. Look at this. Unreal fantasy book level in real life. I think this is particularly ACOTAR inspired because all of the steps, I mean, it's perfect for this trip. And also because we will be going in the late summertime, there will be plenty of wildflowers and natural beauty, and that could symbolize Farah's other sister, Elaine, because we don't want to forget about her either. Okay, can we talk about how annoying the AI modified stuff is on Pinterest? I have it turned off, all my settings that I don't want to be recommended it, and yet I still am. Here are the wildflowers that can symbolize Farah's other sister. Beautiful. I could put 100 pictures on here because it's so stunning. Thought we could do some sketching, we could do some more painting. Like, this is what I'm thinking of. We could sit at the top of the hill, we can do some sketching, since again Farah is an artist and she loves to do that throughout the series. And then after we spend the day there, because that will take up the majority of the day, we can head back to our base for the night, we can get dinner, we can eat it on the balcony, whether that's catered to us through our hotel or not. I think just going on this trip, you would want to spend as much time outside at night as possible because of how beautiful it is. So whether that's sitting on the balcony and enjoying the stars or wandering through the village, watching the Matterhorn glow at night, we're gonna be doing all that. Day 3 is complete. Of course, today is mostly hiking, so that's what we have focused on for this collage mood board. I also wanted to make sure I included her sketching that she may have done when she was at this hike, when she reached the top. We have plenty pictures showing the beautiful Stoos Ridge hike, the steps symbolizing Nesta, some hiking outfits that are very much trendy, but also the black showing the night court. Two different options depending on what the weather may be like that day. I also could see them bringing a film camera up top and taking lots of pictures to document the group's travels. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but still turned out beautiful because of how stunning this hike is. And yeah, I could definitely see them doing this and having a blast doing it. Day 4 of the trip is finally here. We're gonna stay completely in Zermatt since we had the past 2 days we are going up mountains or we are taking the train to go on a hike. We're gonna stay at our base camp for today. I was thinking, what would be a great thing to do while you're there? And yes, we have our own sauna and hot tub in our hotel, but I also thought we could go do a spa day. I found 2 great spas that we can head off to. This is the first one that we're gonna look at here. This sounds beyond fancy. I love it. I love it. Want to find a good picture of what we can see, but look, we got a sauna with a view. And again, yes, we have our own sauna, but since there is no budget to spare, we can make do and have a group outing. We can sit in the outdoor hot tub here. I'm blanking on the word. What's it called? It looks like a hot spring, just a man-made one. All these pictures are in the winter, but it's not like it's warm enough that you couldn't go do this during the summer either, or the early fall. And then the other spa that I'm going to look up here, it looks like this is also, is this a hotel? It might be a hotel. So we actually might not be able to just go here for the spa unless you book a whole night, and that just does not seem worth it to me. But maybe you could go just for the spa. Oh, they have massages and stuff. That will be perfect, especially after doing a long hike the day before. I am really sore right now. I worked out hard yesterday and I can barely lift my arms. So thinking about doing a spa and then getting a massage sounds heavenly right now. I'm a bit jealous. It is expensive, but they're rich. We're gonna do that for the day. We're gonna come here, we're gonna do a massage, and then we're gonna go to the other place, do the spa, do the sauna, swim in the outdoor hot spring looking pool. And that sounds like the perfect day. We can, again, kind of repeat our routine of sitting on the balcony. We can all chat with our group. Day 4 is a day that, again, I wish I could indulge in right now. We have the spa, we have the aesthetic, the dark bathrobes. I also found this beautiful bathing suit I could see Farah wearing when she goes in the different hot tubs and outdoor spring-like things. Retreats here, we have the sauna. It all looks lovely. I can't even imagine getting a massage right now, staying in these saunas, and I'm very highly jealous of this day. It is still feeling like a Switzerland trip, but what I really love about creating these mood boards is showing how it still encompasses the night court vibe and the vibe of the characters that are taking the trip, and I cannot wait to continue doing this for more books in the series. So if you have any suggestions of books you want me to make trips for in this booked series, let me know in the comments down below and I'll make sure to get to them. Day 5 will be our final day of this trip, unfortunately, but I'm also really excited for it because I have something great planned for this day that I think Farah and whoever came with her on this trip, the night court group, will also really love. So this is called the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. Let me look how far it is from Zermatt. Oh, it's like right, not far from Zermatt. So quick train ride there. It's our last day. We can put ourselves out there a little bit. This is beautiful. So it's snow all year round. This is giving like edge of Prithian energy. You can get there easily from Zermatt. We can go here. We can view this. You can take the cable car back up to the top. I just thought it would be great to experience a little bit more of the natural beauty of Switzerland while we're there. Imagine this being our night court group. That's really funny to me. I want to do this so bad. Even if you go in the summer, it says that it's snow year round, and I'm sure it gets more snowy in the winter. But when I went to Switzerland, I went in October and we took like an incline train thing up to the top of a mountain and there was snow. There are peaks high enough that it will look like this despite going in the summer, and I think that would be great to spend most of the day there. There are also some other really cool things that you can do while you're there. I wish that this was in English, but it is not. Maybe I'm gonna Google translate it back to English. Okay, this is the Glacier Palace. Not quite sure what this is, but it looks like you can walk through it. You can see some ice sculptures, other beautiful things that you would not get to experience many other places in the world. There's also Cinema Lounge. That is interesting. Look at these eggs that they could sit in. I'm not sure if they'd want to do that, but Alpine crossing seems like something that they would want to do, and also something I would want to do, which is why I am adding it into this itinerary for the trip. And then after that day of doing all of that, I thought that we could go back to our base and we could do a private landscape painting workshop. Let me try to look up to see if there is something like that, but hypothetically we could do that. There's got to be something like that in Zermatt, and if not, we could hire an artist potentially to give us a private lesson, even if that's not something they specifically do. Like, here we go. This is a painting I'm finding on Pinterest. We could learn how to paint something like this. Is looking like our hike that we did. So maybe we could do a painting to symbolize our trip to hang back up in the night court. And that would be something fun for Farah, and also hilarious to see the rest of the night court trying to do a painting like that. Zermatt does not have any natural public thermal pools. Since we have this hotel room, more like hotel house, it's insanely big, we can do this for the night. I thought, why not use all of our amenities if we have not yet already at this point? I know if I was staying in a hotel like this, I would be bouncing between the rooms trying to do everything that I possibly could. There's also this. We could spend the night all talking about our fun memories of the trip with the group. I cannot get over this hotel room to begin with. Like, the city isn't incredible, but this hotel room, my brain cannot even comprehend, one, being able to afford something like that, and two, actually staying in it. That's what our night court would stay in. Our final day of the trip is done, sadly. We've had so much fun with this trip, and as we mentioned, we wanted to go up to the top of the Matterhorn. Snow all year round, so we needed to make sure we're in appropriate gear for that. We can see the beautiful views throughout this time, and then once we head back, we could do our private painting class. Here's some paintings of the mountains that look similar to ones I've seen in Switzerland, and then end the night in our very bougie hotel, enjoying the views of Zermatt, going in our private sauna, our private hot tub, maybe a bathing suit like this. This one also seemed very night court coded to me. Another robe that I could see Farah wearing. Yeah, just wrapping up the trip before we head back home to the night court, to Valeris. And this is what I would imagine Valeris to be like in real life. The home away from home for Farah, Reese, and the other night court gang. I had so much fun planning this trip. Again, if you have any suggestions of books you want to see in the series, let me know down below. I am really excited to continue the series, and I hope you guys enjoy, because as someone who loves books and travels so much, this has been so much fun for me, and I have lots of ideas, but I'd love to hear yours as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe if you want to be notified whenever I post. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!